So it's Sunday morning. I'm in my PJs. I thought, what a perfect time to do a video for the week ahead and for the micro new moon in Scorpio, which actually is going to have quite a big energy because of a number of reasons, which we'll get into. But anyway, starting with Sunday. So the moon is in Libra. So this will have been a weekend where there would have been quite a lot of focus on partnerships, relationships, situationships maybe, and finances and stuff like that, and finding balance, relaxing, and just like doing things you enjoy, doing things for others probably as well. So there's this nice really sort of like Libran feeling to the weekend. We've also then got the moon moving into the balsamic moon phase or solar lunar phase at 3:38 a.m. GMT time. That is just like time for healing, for relaxing, for releasing things that need to be let go of. So there's this energy for the next couple of days of just like finding that time to relax, rest, heal, things coming up from the past that need letting go, and just release, ridding bad energies and letting go. So there's that. And then Monday the energy shifts a bit, because on Monday we start to build up to this like Scorpio new moon, and the sun in Scorpio highlighting hidden secrets, buried emotions, begins to form the grand trine that plays out during this week. It connects with Jupiter in Cancer and Saturn in Pisces. So grand trines, but when it's a water sign, it's like emotionally led to take action. There's a drive to do something or complete something, which is like it's kind of playing on your emotions. I apologise for the noise. Angel, come here. She saw a jogger running down the road she wanted to go to. Oh, I got tail. Right then. So this is going to be playing out throughout this week, but it starts off with the sun activating the grand trine. Later in the week, it'll be Mercury. Angel, shh, 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 shh. Good girl. There's a sense of escapism. So there's a sense of there's a situation that could be restricting, limiting you, or like giving you extra responsibilities, and there's a sense of wanting to escape from that, sort of like pushing you away. There's a drive towards going towards a dream, like a dream scenario, like lifetime, escaping a situation, creating difference in some way. So the moon opposes Chiron in the morning, and it forms a T-square with Jupiter as well. So Jupiter and Chiron are in opposition. The moon is a square to both of them. So this presents a challenge. Now, challenges aren't always a bad thing. When people hear challenges in like astrology things, they think, oh no, it's going to be a nightmare. But actually we need challenges in life, because otherwise we just wouldn't move forward. Nobody said life is supposed to be easy. It would be really boring if it was. So yeah, that brings a bit of a challenge. It's going to bring up a lot of emotions, probably feel a bit overwhelming for some people, with the moon and Jupiter and Chiron. There's a sense of sort of needing to protect your home, your family, even yourself. It's quite like the need to nurture and take care of others is coming up quite strongly. So around in the evening, around 9:44 GMT time, in the night time, the moon enters Scorpio, and so obviously we then have this whole Scorpio moon. It changes the feeling of the atmosphere, whereas we went from a Libra moon, which was very balanced and about relationships and connections to others. Scorpio moons can go a little bit inward. It's where the moon is in its fall. So it's kind of exiled, so it's feeling a bit out of the loop. It can bring up negative emotions. It can be very deep and intensely felt. It can be a bit more sort of solitary, or a bit more sort of, odds from whatever the connection was that we had with others. So by Tuesday, so moving into Tuesday, the moon is square to Pluto, so it forms this square to Pluto, which just brings a bit more of it's like a bit of a volatile energy, because there's a sort of a grand cross, although it's a bit wide within 6-degree orb, between Jupiter and Chiron is in opposition, as we mentioned with the moon, but the moon is now in square to Pluto. Pluto square. So it's the late degrees of the cardinal signs and the early degrees of the fixed signs that will be affected by this sort of grand cross. It's building a sense of anger or action that's needed around something that's stubborn or controlling, and manipulating force or energy. So once again, try to check in with yourself a little bit to avoid falling into negative headspace, because there is this sense of getting really quite wound up this week, I think, emotionally, particularly with it being in like the moon in Scorpio, feeling a bit all is doom and gloom, and getting a bit into a bit of a negative mindset, or emotionally, just like a bit of a downward spiral. So just really check in with yourself. Okay, so by Wednesday, in the early hours, Mercury retrogrades back into Scorpio as well. So Mercury's now got back to Scorpio. That's going to get to like 29 degrees, which is like the critical point. It's asking us to sort of like, if we've learnt the lessons of the past month and the things that have been going on in our lives over the past month in terms of communications, connections, even travel, deliveries, things like that. So there's a chance that something's coming back up, some old hurts, past wounds, problems in communication. There may be something that you want to get off your chest, like a need to get something off your chest, something that needs to be said, but it could cause a bit of like a bit of conflict coming up. The moon meets with Venus as well, so there's a conjunction between the moon and Venus, which brings a sense of like, what is at what cost is this conflict going to come at? Is it going to be about something's got to be fixed? How much is it going to cost physically, like actual financially, or is it about relationships, where there is a sense of if I say this, what's it going to cost in terms of relationship? But if I don't say it, what's it going to cost in terms of my own sanity or happiness? So there's this sort of weighing things up, whether it's to do with the relationships or whether it's to do financially and the cost of it. So both Venus and the moon also will they interact with the north and south node. So this brings up a sense of there's an opportunity that was missed. There was something that you would have liked to have done, or gone somewhere, seen someone, met, like there's something that was missed out on, and so it brings up this feeling of like, I missed out. And there's almost like this destiny to it. It's like, I've got to do it. I've got to give it a go, sort of coming forward. So this could spark like questions in your mind about like, what was the universe like? What was the fate behind it? Why did this thing not come through for me? Why did it not happen? What was the universe trying to guide me towards? What, like, is there something better coming in future? Am I best to go backwards or forwards, or like? So there's a lot of questions on this day, and it's almost like we'll be screaming at the universe, like, why, universe, why? So yeah, there's a significant opposition forms between Mercury, and it's like opposing Uranus. So this is like going to bring up some really significant issues with like shock news, something really shocking. I think there's something, like with all this Epstein stuff coming out. So I think maybe there's going to be a person that we wouldn't have expected involved in it all. To me, there's an element of like religious person as well. Like it's something spiritual, religious, could be like caught up with it. But this can also be to do with like aviation, travel, connections, communications, internet, cyber attacks, all those sorts of things. Definitely, there could be like tech glitches with the Mercury being in retrograde as well. Just lots of problems. However, there's massive energy around the next 2 days as well, because there's an alignment really like perfect line between 3-eye Atlas and then the Sun, Mercury and the Moon and Earth, and then Uranus in opposition as well. So, and it's like in the perfect line-up. Well, we know that 3-eye Atlas is bringing disruption to the things which it's triggering. When it's going to trigger Mercury, so that's a planet that's about communications, connections, local communities, and also things like travel, transport, like locally, roads, stuff like that, radio, internet, all that sort of stuff as well. When it's Uranus, so Uranus is themes of such as like aviation, airports, nuclear things. It brings about shocks, sudden change. It can be electrical as well, so this could bring some sort of power outage, power outage. So yeah, there's just a sense that on Wednesday there is this little element of disruption, power, communications, connections, internet going down, that kind of thing. It definitely looks like it's on the cards this week. Some sort of disruption here on Earth with like how we live our lives currently. So on Thursday we finally get to the new moon, and this is exact at 6:47 a.m. GMT time, and it's at 28 degrees of Scorpio. As the moon and the sun come together, Mercury joins them too. So this is really going to be a new moon about communication, connections, news, things like that. So this, yeah, there's hidden information with it being Scorpio as well. It's usually like what is hidden information coming up to the surface, into the public domain. It suggests things around communication, networks, internet, cyber attacks. Also with Uranus involved in the opposition, so Uranus is opposing this new moon very significantly. This would suggest like big shocks, storms, massive storms, big earthquakes, volcanic eruptions, nuclear, aviation, all sorts of problems with those sorts of things. Yeah, it's big. It is like a big, significant moment, definitely. I don't think this is going to be, although this is a tiny micro new moon, I just don't think the events of what happens this week is going to be small. We also have to remember, because it's micro new moon, it's with Black Moon Lilith as well, conjunct. So Black Moon Lilith is going to bring up feeling like we don't have the thing we want most. We don't have the desire we want. It's going to bring up other people's desires as well. And if other people's desires are detrimental to us, and also if our desires are detrimental to somebody else and what they want. So it's almost like this balancing out of desires, what we have and what we have not got, feeling like we don't have what we need, what we want. There's definitely some strange things going on, but also this water grand trine plays out with the moon this time, in trine with both Saturn and Jupiter as before. So this is like unearthing something that's hidden. There's like something that's hidden, something that's coming up, but it's emotional. There's like quite a lot of emotion to this new moon. So yeah, this Scorpio new moon has a sense of like this death, rebirth, big changes. Something has to go in order to start over anew. So there's something that has to be let go of, or something we just can't hold on to anymore. It's like gone for whatever reason. And it's where our desires aren't being met currently, and what we need to do in order to be happy, basically, to get those desires met. It's is it time to move on, move forward? How are we going to go about that? Finally, on Thursday, the moon progresses into Sagittarius, where it's both looking for spiritual truth, trying to make sense of it all, the bigger picture, like why, what is my purpose, what am I going towards? But also it's trying to remain positive. It's trying to find, make some light in the scenarios that are playing out. It's trying to Just like bring some positivity to the matter. So by Friday morning, we have this moon in the fiery Sagittarius, and it meets with Mars in Sagittarius, and this is going to give us a bit of a spark. Like, let's go. I know what I want now. I've been through this new moon. I've let go of what I needed to let go, and now it's time to plant the seeds and get going. Angel, what's the matter? Sorry about the noise. Angel, what's up? Is there a jogger outside? I don't do jogging. Hey? Come on. So yeah, there's a sense of like more determination, more action, more motivation on Friday morning, because I think this week feels like it's going to be quite emotionally heavy, quite, building on anger and aggression and all those sorts of feelings, shocks, just feeling a bit like shocked, like, oh my God, what am I going to do? Yeah, so Friday kind of freshens it with a bit of like fire. Like, okay, let's get going. I know what I've got to do. I've got to do it. That's fine. The Sun is exactly opposing Uranus and also trying to Neptune. So there's this shock, this sense of, oh my God, this could bring confusion around a leader. However, this on a personal level is about being motivated to take leadership, to go for what you want the most, like go for those dreams, to take your chances. It's quite sudden. The moon square to the lunar nodes, and then there's this sense of like destiny rising, but it's a challenge to overcome it. It's like, okay, I've got to make this thing happen, but it isn't going to be easy. Right then, so we go to Saturday, the 22nd of November. And the Sun ingresses into Sagittarius as well. Finally, Sagittarius season. Yes. Get out of Scorpio season. Sorry. Had to read in. The Sun ingresses into Sagittarius, starting a new sense of truth-seeking and exploration, learning. Moon squares to Saturn and Neptune. And this is about like responsibility and spirituality and breaking down of illusions of what may have seemed like reality before, and it's turning out to be false. So this can highlight religious rules, being like spiritual practices on a daily basis, just an urge to go travel and explore as well. There's a sense of like, literally, I've got to go somewhere. I've got to do the thing. I've got to, get out there. Mercury in Scorpio takes its turn to create this water trine again. So this water trine plays again, and grand trines they're positive, they're about action, but when they're like in water, it's just kind of really heavy emotional. It's like dreaming, daydreamy, like what if kind of dreamy, and then it's like the action is kind of more instinctive, like following your intuition, doing something that you've dreamed of, but it's not really using logic as such. It's kind of just like a very emotionally watered down thing. So Mercury is now taking its time to be like in trine to Jupiter in Cancer and also Saturn in Pisces. Building importance and a need to put plans together to take action. So there's this sense of Mercury, it's about the mind. So this is kind of bringing some thought to it, some logic to it, some planning to it. Saturn can also put sort of, when it's in Pisces though, it's kind of spiritually driven or like intuitively instinctive, but it's like putting the plans together for what we're moving forward towards. I think this week's going to have been so heavily emotional, disruptive as well to our lives. So it's like, okay, we've got to move forward from this point. This weekend feels like, okay, it's the point to move forward. So yeah, I think that's pretty much what I've got for the week ahead. This new moon is quite, it's just really powerful. I think with the 3i Atlas alignment just the day before as well. It's a disruptive week, but hopefully we get through it all good. I think when I did my monthly forecast, which you can find on my Facebook page, this week was something that I highlighted to feel like a little bit like hope is lost. Something goes a bit wrong, there's a lot of disruption this week, and then it feels a little bit like hope is lost, but it comes back again. By the weekend, we could be feeling a bit more positive to take action, to just get out there in the world and go and explore and just get a different perspective as well, because Sagittarius can be about different perspective rather than this heavy, emotionally, like emotional Scorpio. So we move out of Scorpio season, and I think that's going to bring some positivity. Thanks for watching.